out there. Woo!
So my beautiful ladies, thank you so much for being here. One thing that happened to me this weekend, I promised my husband that I will be going with him with the archery. So there's 3 weeks in a row that we left on the Friday, and well, today we didn't come back today, but the others we came on the Monday, but we came back yesterday. But you know, when we're there, all of them are just talking about archery the whole time. It's like, so I did other stuff. I went and swing on tires. I did interviews. I read my book. I actually was reading a book from Shannon Lee. And Shannon Lee, she's Bruce Lee's daughter. So I love some of the philosophy of Bruce Lee. And I just had time to read it because there was no internet, there was nothing. So what I wanted, my message for today is, if there is things that you need to do and you made a promise that you will be, because I promised Beatrice, Wendy, I'm just going to put you on mute for now. Hello, sorry. I made a promise to Beatrice that I will be attending some of his archery. And it's sometimes difficult because it's boring. You can just hear so much about archery for a non-archer. But because I promised, I put a brave smile on. And then I was thinking, what can I go and do just in between to recharge me, or just walking around in the trees and, just be a little bit by myself and taking photographs of everyone. So I want to say, ladies, thank you so much for being here. Our male celebrity could not make it. His son is in Boston in hospital, and they let him know that he needs to be at the hospital. So the PA let me know around about 6 o'clock that he will see if he can come in, but probably not. And I said, no, please don't let him come in. Let him go and spend time with his son. I am praying that everything will be worked out as God planned. We're not sure. I'm not sure and she's also not sure. So ladies, then I am most of the time prepared for in case. So my story for today or this week is consistency. So I jump onto the bed and put a warm blanket on because it's quite cold here with us, Tammy. All of us is in South Africa. Tammy is summer now, and she is in Canada. And Tammy, maybe you can just let me know, you are in Ontario. Is that the right place that you are? Okay, perfect. The same place that Mandy. You're on the same vicinity where Mandy is. Oh, because the ladies know Mandy. Oh, wow, wonderful. So ladies, I was like in bed with my clothes, underneath the blanket, with the warm blanket, underneath my bum. And my husband came past. He said, what are you doing? I said, and now in Afrikaans, it will be, the ladies that understand Afrikaans will understand it much better. And I said, no, my bum is getting warm. Now my brain is like getting juices, and I'm writing a poem for our session today. But, the Afrikaans saying, that's a little bit different. And he said, okay, continue writing your poem. So here is my poem for consistency, ladies. Are you ready? Okay, I just want to quickly go. Consistency is the key. Do you know what you want in life? If you know, think of how important will this be for you. Will it make you a better person? Are you able to change your circumstance? Most importantly, will this change the world around you? Know your why, as your why is your most important point to start. Dream a dream of a child in full colors with all your senses. Look what you need to succeed and who is there to help you. By seeking change to reflect the awesomeness of your life. In action, sorry, my son is just bringing me some coffee. Donkey, monsieur. Thank you. In action is perseverance. Consistently will set your path to success. Then, my beautiful one, dance to celebrate your victory, for thou they see to be magnificent. Consistency is the key to your victory. So I thought, okay, Sanet, there you go, beautiful. And then I also wrote, let me just see, where is my quote for today for consistency, and then I will be going in there. You are the most important person in your life. Keep your promise for yourself. Keep your word, keep your promise. Oh, that's another poem. Sorry, ladies. Keep your promise, keep your word to magnificent self. A promise is a self letter, a letter of your heart. To your dearest one, the most important of all, keep your promise. The seed of this act will set your dreams into a field of belief. For thou is so magnificent that your word, your truth, is in high demand in future to rely on you, because it will be done as you keep your word, as you keep your promise to yourself. Your light will shine bright, your heart will be illuminated, for thou is important. For thou or you are important. I think I messed something up, but I'm going to type this up and I'm going to put it onto the Diamond Beauties. So ladies, by being consistent and keeping your promise, I want to talk about that. So let me just get my... How do you start to keep your promise and be consistent? So I can only talk out of my life. For me, I needed to lose the weight, and there was not a lot of time. I knew I couldn't today cheat and tomorrow do another thing, because there was no time. I had to lose 62 kilograms in 18 months. For me, I lost then 75, or in your case, Tammy, 165 pounds I lost in 18 months. But I didn't have a choice, because my why was extremely big. I wanted to be with my grandson. I wanted to be in New Zealand with my grandson. I had the reason for my 18 months is I was 55 and I had to start working in New Zealand before June, because when you're 56, you're too old to work, get a permanent position in New Zealand. So the thing for me was to be consistent. I wanted to change my habit. So I knew my why. My why was extremely important. I wrote down my why. I wrote down my dream. I actually didn't ever expect to feel this good. But while I was dreaming, I wrote down what I wanted to do. I wanted to go on a swing and swing with my beautiful grandson. I experienced everything with my senses. I could see the sunshine on his head. He's got blonde hair. Well, not now anymore, because it's 3 years later. But when he was still 4 years old, he had light blonde hair. I could see the blonde, the sun in his on his head, and because the swings is normally on the sand or at the beach, I could smell the sea. I could see the sea. I could see his laughter, and I could hear him scream, "Oh me higher, oh me higher." I have put down every dream, all the dreams of what I want to do when I lose the weight, because I knew that something has to start to change, and it had to start here. But it's easy to say you're going to do it. Ladies, it is so easy. Now this thing, Google is, I didn't understand that, picking me up. Sorry, ladies. If it is not this one, it's this one. So for me, in order for me to lose the weight and keep the weight off, I had to change here. But the thing is, it's easy. How many of us on a New Year's said, this is our New Year's resolutions for the next year? How many of us did almost the same resolutions the year after that because you didn't keep your promise to yourself? I had to make sure that I changed my habits. And this is where consistency is coming in. So the next thing after I knew my why, I started dream in 3D. Remember the 3D that is use all your senses. And then I looked at my resources. I went to the dietitian, the psychologist, to the internist to make sure everything medical, everything is sorted out. I made sure never, ladies, there's a big secret, never to go to buy groceries on an empty stomach. Because then you will put more stuff in the trolley, and then when you get into the car, you can't wait, and you start to eat. So I never went to buy food on an empty stomach. And whatever is on my list, it's only that I bought, because I cannot cheat. It's just, there was no cheating for me. So I looked at my resources. Then my next step was the action. I had to take action. And here is where the difficult part is coming up. You can put your why, you can do your dreaming, you can look at your resources. But then if you, for instance, my goal plan, I had to make it small, bite size. So I didn't say to myself, Sanet, you need to lose 75 kilograms or 165 pounds. I said to myself, for the next 3 months, I must try my best to lose 10 kilograms. So I took the whole plan, the time that I have, and I actually gave myself 2 years. Because I was thinking, if I can just lose before my birthday, I said 62 kilograms, then I will be okay. So what I did, I broke it off. So I never, on my goal plan, never have put the big amount on. I have dreamed it in 3D, but when I did my goal plan, I break it off, because it is easier for our mind to get to that goal, the smaller goal plan, because it's more attainable and it's measurable. So for me, I had to make sure that I do the right exercise, exercise more than what I was eating, and then stay consistent. Now, I don't know, ladies, do you know, and you're welcome to unmute yourself and answer me. Do you know, if you want to change one habit, how long will that take you to change that habit? Do you know the days? Yes, Tammy?
I'm not sure, because different things that you read, it seems like different experts have the number of days. but something I read through Google, our best friend, a while ago, and it said 66 days to create a new habit. But I've heard less than that.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's even expanded now in some spaces. If you look, someone will say almost a half of a year
Okay.
to create a habit, because that's what you're talking about, bringing the consistency in it, because we can all change our mind to do something, but are we going to do it every single day? That's the challenge, right?
Yes.
So
So
I read the last thing I read was 66 days. Sorry for the long answer.
no, that's perfectly. And even yours is even nearer to the truth, because most of the time people will tell you, if you want to stop smoking, if you want to do this, you must do 21 days. 21 days is nothing. After 21 days, you will go back if you don't continue. So for me, I said 90 days, but that was my 3 months. That was my thing. If I can make it, and ladies, in the beginning, it was day by day. If I can just not cheat today, then I dance before I go to bed. When I go and stand, if I feel like a chocolate, I will go and stand in front of the mirror, and I will say, and I will do my forever, and some of you have done the forever anchoring. I will stand in front of the mirror and I will say, Sanet, do you feel like a chocolate? And then I will say, yes. And then I will say, okay, Sanet, go and dance with your forever song. And Tammy and Diana, my forever song is Walking on Sunshine. I will go and I will put my body and I will dance if there's no tomorrow. And then I will go and stand in front of the mirror again. My son has a beautiful big mirror. That one video that I'm knocking against the mirror, I done it in front of his mirror. And then I will say, Sanet, do you still feel like a chocolate? And except for one time, I could say with an honest heart, no, I don't feel like another chocolate. But in the beginning, in that first 3 months, I had to dance 3 times so that I don't eat a chocolate. So ladies, get something to replace, but make it small steps. If I get through today without cheating, then I have accomplished my goal. And then I do a victory dance. So my last point is, if you take the action and there is sabotage or something coming up, replace that with something. So instead of eating a chocolate, I started to dance. I started, first of all, to speak to me, to look myself in a mirror. So I looked myself in my soul. And ladies, just think about it. I'm going to look at the camera. How could I stand in front of the mirror? And I remember I have dreamed that my grandson and I am on the swing. And I made a promise to him. He doesn't even know I made that promise to him and to myself not to cheat. How can I stand in front of the mirror and my why is so big and I will say, yes, I'm going to eat a chocolate. I could never do it. I could never do it. I had to stick to my plan because ultimately I did it for my grandson, but ultimately it was for me. So consistency is the name of the game. And yes, it's not easy. I can write a book of maybe 60 pages of to say consistency is not easy. Really, it's not easy. But you have to make small, on your plan, small, make it measurable, make it attainable, and then celebrate. I play my forever song every day because every day something victorious is happening. I could have played my Walking on Sunshine this weekend more than 100 times because there were so many miracles that have happened. Just quickly one. a beautiful lady. She didn't want to live anymore. And I was with my hat and everything Friday, coming there, looking beautiful because I was at a doctor for my eye. And she came to me, she took my hand, she said to me, Sanet, oh, she didn't know my name. She said, what's your name? I said, Sanet, and her name was Wilma. She said, you look so beautiful and you almost look like my daughter. And I said, I'm so happy because I can see your daughter, you know, you love your daughter. She says, yeah, but my daughter is not here anymore and I don't want to be here anymore. And I took both of her hands and I said to her, do you have other children? And she said, yes. And I said, do your other children rely on you? She said, yes. But they have their own family. I said, I hear you. I hold still, keep in her hands. I said to her, and you, do you love your grandchildren? Do you want to see them, still see them? Yes. And she said, you know, Sanet, I totally forgot. With seeing you, it was so overwhelming that I really wanted to be with my daughter, that I forgot about my grandchildren. And the whole weekend, if there's something to be eaten, she made me special slop pop. It's porridge for breakfast, but she made it in the evening for me as well. We call it maize mealie pop. The guys in South Africa, she brought a small plate for me because I liked it in the morning. She brought it in the evening for me again. So I was just glad to be there. And also to tell her to really look at what her situation is. So ladies, this is my part for being consistent. I hope that you enjoy it. And like I said, I could only speak of my own, the way that I went through. And the more you do it, the more you will keep on doing it. So thank you so much for listening to me. And I know some of you have heard me already, but I want to say thank you. So if there's any questions, you're welcome to ask me. Otherwise, we will be going through to Wendy. Wendy, it's your turn. Yes, Tammy?
I have a question. So that is an amazing testimony that you just shared. And I never thought of it 100% in that way of the basically reverting to something that's really pleasurable to replace a bad habit. That's fantastic. Thank you for that. So the question I have is going to be a little detailed here. Do you coach people on weight loss challenges as well as other things in business or whatever the case may be? Because I only met you, just a short while, but maybe 6 months ago. But I'm curious about, do you coach people on the weight loss goals?
Yes, I have a beautiful program called the Monarch Butterfly Program. That's why also I've got the wings here at the back. And it's a 12-week program. And it's an amazing program. Now I can give you more details a little bit later.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's amazing. I love what you said about it. You did that for your birthday. That's crazy cool. I love it.
Thank you. And now it's 3 years later, Tammy. I'm still not in New Zealand because COVID and everything happened. But then I went to America and more stuff happened. So yes. Thank you so much, Tammy. Wendy, it's all up to you. I just want to say thank you so much, Wendy. And I want to say hello to Dor and Diana. I'm looking forward to your 5 minutes, my beautiful Wendy. And thank you for inspiring us.
I hope I'll inspire you. So this is going to be a quick one. I'm going to try and keep it brief. So today I'm traveling to the metaphysical world to have a look at consistency, and it dovetails quite nicely with what Sanet was saying. So in the universe, I've been studying this, everything is made up of waves and particles, or another word for particle would be an atom. And the waves and particles are surrounded by a field of infinite possibilities. And in fact, we actually create our universe by the way that we think. So when we focus on a particular thing, so Sanet was focusing on weight loss. When we focus on that, the wave in the universe collapses and it starts to form a picture, and especially if you use your emotions, of what you would like. So I'm not going to use weight loss. I'm going to say, let's say you want a healthy bank account, and you focus on that. That will then collapse the wave, and the wave starts making this real for you. The thing though, and where the consistency comes in, is if you don't practice focusing on whatever it is that you want, that particle just goes back and becomes a wave again. So it's not permanent. So you have to practice it. And in what I've been reading, it's 6 to 8 weeks for something to actually begin to manifest, not even to manifest, but just to start, where you can start to see the changes. And in the instant gratification world that we live in, we just don't have the patience, or we lose hope and we become very disappointed because it's been 3 weeks now. I still don't see X amount of dollars in my bank account. Where is it? Let me stop. So I found that very, very, very interesting. It has to be done on a consistent basis. You have to feel it, see it, experience it, and that wave will collapse and it will start forming what you want. Because as I say, your outer world follows your inner world. So whatever you think of will manifest in your life on the outer world. And it's just there's a delay in moving from this quantum field into the field of possibilities, or the action into reality, to put it simply. So that was very interesting, and I'm sure my 5 minutes is almost up, so I'm going to say this quickly. What I also felt very interesting is there were 3 ways to approach life. The one is, I'm a victim. I don't have money, blah, 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 blah. And your frequency drops and you start attracting all the negative stuff to you. Then there is, you can approach life by me. So you're making everything happen. It's a lot of work, it's exhausting. And then the best approach is through me. So you're not fighting anything, you're letting things flow, you're focusing on what it is you want. So you're collapsing the particles, it's starting to manifest in 6 to 8 weeks, and it will become stronger as you consistently practice it. And then through me, which is the highest vibration, things then start to fall into place. So it is all about consistency, but I just found this very interesting. And that's my 5 minutes worth.
Wow, that was amazing. Is there any question, Wendy? Thank you for looking that up, Wendy. Yo, that was interesting. Any questions, ladies? Oh, wow. First, thank you, beautiful Wendy. I really enjoy that. So now from South Africa to Canada. Oh, yes, I know you've got a question.
When Wendy was talking about the energy within that collapses the frequency to give way of a new habit, I tried to put some obstacles in between that period when you are forming a new habit. There would be some, I would say, a wave, bigger waves in the form of obstacles that come. Maybe it opposes the energy that you are exhibiting to try and form a new habit. Like as Sanet was saying, there would be some temptation to go back to craving, and you would want to eat. What is it that you have to do to try and work with that force that comes to collapse the formation?
Yeah, so a lot of us try and self-sabotage, and for me it all comes back to, am I enough? And am I enough comes into loving yourself. Once you know that you are enough and you deserve whatever it is, not even deserve, because it's your right to have these things, that will come to you and you are going to flow with it. And you know that you're enough, there will be no need to self-sabotage, and you will accept it freely, and it'll probably come to you at a lot, at a faster rate. So I would say focus on the fact that you are enough. You're a miracle in this world. I don't know how many how many sperm it took to fertilize your particular egg, or that sperm to fertilize it. I mean, that in itself is a miracle. So it's not by coincidence that you're here. It's by design, and I think you just need to accept that. But a lot of it is, am I enough? And yes, you are enough. But that's something that you would need to, even practice on your own. So it's a mirror work, etc., etc.
Can I follow up a little bit?
Yes.
And
yes.
just to, not a follow-up, but to make it even richer.
Yes.
I'm taking it from a spiritual perspective now, because what she said triggered that to me. As you say, you need to focus on the fact that we are enough. It says to me, according to scriptures, the Bible says, greater is he who is in us than the one who is in the world. So which says, I have power, I have control, I have dominion over whatever is happening. As long as it comes from outside, the power that is within me is greater. So if I focus on that power, it definitely would work against or counteract the force that comes from outside. Because it's a belief, it's a mental issue.
Are you referring to the power of God, that God is with you and he will support you?
Definitely.
Okay.
I'm referring to that.
Yes.
Because
yeah.
when you said I am enough, that's where it triggered the fact that we are made in God's image. We have a certain power that is more powerful than the power that is in the universe. We are God's image. Therefore, if a challenge comes, we are able to counteract with the belief that we are more than enough. We are more powerful than it is. Therefore, we are able to subdue it.
Correct. Yeah. No, I agree 100%. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Wow, thank you so much, Diana. Thank you so much, Winnie. It's beautiful, beautiful. So now, ladies, all the way from Canada, all the way from Ontario, Canada, it's Tammy. I first heard Tammy. She spoke to us. And Tammy, the way that you have spoken that day was so beautiful. You have given me goosebumps. And I thought, I'm going to invite this beautiful lady to the Diamond Beauties. And then as soon as she accepted, I was on Messenger and I said to her, Tammy, come and speak to us. Come and inspire us. So Tammy, thank you so much for being here. You are amazing for me. I loved your glasses in the 2-minute video that you have put up for us. So I'm giving it all over to you. You can take it away, my beautiful lady.
Well, first of all, let me say, everybody that's here, thank you for everybody being here. And, you should really applaud for yourself that you've taken and created the time to be here. Honestly, you could be doing anything that you want to do, but you've taken this time. Sanet, a short time that I've met you, your energy just comes through the Zoom. And I feel electrified just from that. And if anyone's met you in person, it must be 10 times that. So I just want to say thank you. And I coined a phrase for, like, how I would actually describe you in just a small little snippet. And I told somebody that you're a heart champion. And the reason why I said that, I'm going to get a little emotional, is because I see the thing that you're doing. And of course, I can't see what is behind the scenes, but I realize that you're a champion of people and your heart is so huge that the entire world needs to hear you. So I called you a heart champion to several people. And so I'm extremely privileged to be on this call. Consistency is a big thing for me. Just so everybody knows here, I'm a mom of 3. I still make my husband's lunch. And I worked in the corporate world for more than 10 years, 14 years actually in publishing space. And even though I love that work, I love working with people, I love solving problems and solutions, it still was driving me to move into entrepreneurship, because the job place is not designed for a person who wants to be an active parent, an active involved partner. And so I literally it wasn't something I wanted to do. I'll be honest with you. I was happy with my job, working, getting my salary, moving up. And it wasn't until one time when I'd say the first time my husband was laid off after working 25 years at the same company. The week our 3rd child was being born. That's so it's your happiest time when you're getting married, moving to a new city, whatever the case may be. And we realized at that particular point that the income sources that we had and resources, Sanet spoke about different resources, it was not going to be enough to sustain us. And so it really propelled me into entrepreneurship, because I was going to look for having balance with my life, being home every day for my children, picking them up every day from school, all these different things just started to pull at my head, trying to figure out how we can make ends meet. And so what happened was, just, I think you can say organically, I was introduced to a book, Think and Grow Rich. And I was so nervous about going into entrepreneurship. Like, you don't get a paycheck every week, whatever the case may be. Sometimes you're going months without any pay. But can I tell you that this one chapter, Specialized Knowledge, it changed the way I thought about things. And what I realized, it empowered me to realize that I'm going to a job, they're paying me for what I know. They're going to train me to do other things, but they're already going to pay me because of what I know. So how can I turn that into something that I can create around my family schedule? And so because I had a job, and even I had spoke to other ladies who were not working, they were stay-at-home moms, they had already started up a routine of consistency of the things that they did every single day, whether it was outside the home or inside the home. So we all have it in us, consistency. It's just a matter of where you're doing it at. And so this is the thing that I felt to be so empowering, this topic, because sometimes we feel we don't have enough to do more, but we really do have it already. And so what happened is, I was like, oh, how can I do this? So that's how I embarked onto entrepreneurship. And it's been a blessing to me because of so many different things that I realized from all the reading, being around amazing people, that my routines that I actually learned from being an employee helped to build who I am as an entrepreneur. So what that means, Annette, I love to dance and sing. I have a journal. People wonder what that. I have a journal. I have many journals. My favorite one is this one. Beauty begins the moment you decide to be yourself, by Coco Chanel. That just resonated with my heart. I'm telling you right now. And honestly, every single day, I find something that I love, because that feeds my soul, So I like to go to the lake. I like to garden. I have plants. I like to go and I like to talk to the plants. So every single day, what holds me in my space of consistency, I love what both of you have said about the why. I have a why. I have my vision board here. I've got Post-it notes all over the place, but I have my why written down, and I live there. Doesn't matter what else is going on, and I can tell you lots of stories. We can all share our war stories, but let's not live in that space, we're moving through it. So I live in my why. So when people tell me, oh, you're silly, that'll never work. Oh, who do you think you are? The question is, who do you think you aren't? First of all, okay? I read a scripture in the Bible, since we're going to talk about spirituality. It doesn't matter if you believe in God or not, but I can tell you that this is powerful. Let me see if I have it here. I keep a lot of things on my phone to remind me. These are things I do. So I'm going to get to that, but let me just read this to you. This is so powerful. Deuteronomy 28:12. The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty, to send rain on your land in season and to bless all the work of your hands. You will lend to many nations, but borrow from none. That is powerful. Whether a person believes in God or not, this here speaks to every single person. So what holds me accountable is my journal. I have an agenda, and in my agenda, with my meetings, appointments, things for my kids and family commitments, I have Tammy time written in my agenda 2 to 3 times a day. And it is going to the lake, it's going out to the garden, it's going for a walk, it's listening to music, it's writing a poem or a line to myself, or just revisiting my why. Now I want to share something with you. How much time do I have, Sanet? Another 30 seconds?
Now you've got 10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes. I feel the song there. 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes.
We will still dance in it, but sorry,
We
ask
gotta
if you
dance.
can
We
just,
have to dance.
sorry, ask if you can just repeat the scripture, the way, was it Deuteronomy 20? Oh,
Yes.
let me get my glasses.
Yes. The
It's
scripture
20,
reading.
28:12, but was it, what was the book?
Deuteronomy 28:12.
Yes.
Want me to read that again?
Sorry, yes.
Or just,
No.
the Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty, to send rain on your land in season and to bless all the work of your hands. You will lend to many nations, but will borrow from none. And some people might look at that scripture and think it's about money. It's not about money, really. It can be anything you want to be about. You could be lending your ear to an individual who just needs to have someone to listen to, that's not going to ridicule them, that's not going to judge them. You could be lending them your time. Maybe you're a person that has time and you want to volunteer in different spaces. That is called lending. You could be lending some of your own resources. I'm a big fan of helping people. And I've been told many times that we shouldn't be helping others until we actually help ourselves first. But what I do know is that the more you do, the more you have. And so living in a space and knowing who he is and knowing that you're from abundance and being an entrepreneur, like I was saying, not having a regular income. But can I tell you, I was so happy. I wasn't getting a paycheck every week. I wasn't getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, but I was so happy. I didn't have the long hours of commuting. I didn't have to worry about the little socializing going on and the distractions at work and some of the nepotism, all the different things that go on. Imagine, if you're a person that looks like me, just so you know, I found about a week ago, I'm Black. Someone told me I'm Black. I was like, oh, I had to look at myself and say, really? I didn't even know. So so someone that looks like me working in a publishing space for a utility trade magazine, where the people who work in the trades, this, substations, motors and drives, and all the utility workers, they don't look like me, do they? No, they don't look like me. But here I am in the front of the room, sharing with them and introducing people who are going to share with them how they can be better and learn more to grow in their business or their job occupation. Very scary. The consistency part came in to help me out so many different times, because being afraid, of what that will look like. I had a job for years. Now I'm going to embark on being an entrepreneur. What is an entrepreneur? I had to become a student, and I believe I was listening to something And was it you, Sanet, that said something about the number of hours required to learn a new skill, or was that something else? Oh, that must have been another video I was watching. They had said in this last training that I was on that we need, and this blew my mind. I couldn't believe it, but it made sense. 10,000 hours of studying to become an expert. And then I sit back and I think about it. Well, that makes sense, because if you go to college or you go to university or any post-secondary education, there's a certain amount of hours required to get that certification or that degree. And sometimes what I found is that we're so hard on ourselves. I blame it on the microwave. We want it now, 3 minutes. How come it's taking so long? So we have to learn to slow down and be patient with ourselves. If you even think about anyone who does any gardening, you don't just plant something and then tomorrow it's there. I often like to say that people who are gardeners, and this is a really, really nice thing, is they actually show that they have hope for what's going to come up from whatever they've planted. And this whole thing about consistency, it can really, really get a little bit crazy. I mean, think about how busy I would be as a wife and a mom of 3. There's so many moving parts. And so I've often told people that if you don't put yourself on the agenda, it won't get done. And guess what? Nothing else will, because everything relies on you. So I don't know if anyone has any favorite books. I know, Sanet, you talked about focus, and so did Wendy, focus. This year, have you read this one, The Power of Focus? This is a fantastic tool to help us stay focused. And part of the focus, I believe, also comes with us creating different boundaries, if that makes sense. Like, some people come into our lives and they might appear like they're a blessing, but sometimes they're sent to distract us. And so having those goals written down in your journal, if you're not a journaler, start journaling every single day. I mean, I write down why I'm doing what I'm doing. So it's so easy. I could go and get a job. Sure, I can go back and get a job, but I'm not going to have the life balance anymore. So I have to go back to my why. Okay, the money's not there, right? Sometimes with entrepreneurship. So it'd be easy for me to go back to a job. So I have to dig back into my why and live there so I don't get derailed. And it's really, really tough sometimes. And, being by yourself as an entrepreneur, it can be challenging. I mean, Sanet, you had spoke about working together with people. And that's one thing that I really love about you. You're all about helping people, and if you even think about this, I mean, does an individual work like on its own? If you're part of a team, whether it's volunteering at a church or even at the school, it's not just one person running those meetings. It's not just one person making sure the gymnasium is organized for everyone that's coming in. It's a whole team of people. So that shows me right there, without us even probably knowing, we need each other. And we need to have the right people around us that can actually help us get to the next step in life, the next level, whatever the case may be. And we have a lot to offer. I mean, even that verse there in the Bible, I read it, I think about it all the time. It's like lending. Automatically money comes here. But think about all the different things that we can do with what we have. And I mean, I had a lady that was speaking with me. Let me share this with you. She's the only person in her home who is able to physically work. And because she doesn't come from money or doesn't come from an affluent family, she's been kind of deemed by her family as being greedy because she's working 2 jobs, and she also makes, what do you call that? I think it's like some oils that you can burn to kind of clear the air and give you a better feeling. And she has been struggling with her own reason, her why she's doing it. And she shared her why. It was just so she can provide for her family. Her friends and family that are closest to her are seeing her in a different light. And it just broke my heart, because here she is, the only one that can actually physically work on her family. It's a family of 3. And what it showed me is that we need to have people that are either doing what we want to do, are going where we want to go, or have accomplished what we would like to accomplish. It doesn't mean that we can't still love on people. It doesn't mean that at all. It doesn't mean that we think we're better than them. It just means that we're going a different road than what they're going. And I mean, probably the simplest way to say it is, if you need heart surgery, do you call a surgeon or do you go to a plumber? Who do you go to? The plumber? No, you don't go to a plumber, you go to a surgeon. So why do we continue to ask people how to do something that they've never done? This is a big part of the consistency as well as creating the habits. You can get derailed with anything, and it happens. My family, I'll let you know, we're not even in our home this year right now. I mean, I'm going to share this story with you. Marianne knows. Just think about this: preparing for the holidays. A mom of 3, Christmas decorations. Your mom is visiting you, and she's ill. One of our daughters decides that she's going to wash her clothes, put them in the dryer, leave the house. My husband and I are out the house, only to come back and smell something and take actions, go downstairs to the basement and realize that we had a fire in our house. December the 12th. Another 5 minutes, my mom would have not been here. Our oldest daughter would have not been here. And I say this to you because, in spite of what happened December 12th, okay, and this is where the consistency really comes into place, as well as the why. In spite of what has happened, December 12th, we were displaced, living in a hotel for several months. Our house is not fixed. We have a house that we're now calling a home. In spite of that, I still continue to live in my why. That allows me to be consistent as an entrepreneur, to help my family, to also inspire people that I work with, to show them how they can turn a different leaf, turn over a different leaf, if whatever they're doing. We all have problems. Yes, we do, but do you want to live there? It's easy to live there. The biggest thing is to get out of that space. And so I can tell you, my journaling, my dancing and music, and also surrounding myself with some really positive people has really helped me. I mean, even in that whole time, Sanet, I don't even know if I told you, but in that particular time, and it's still going on right now, I have been a co-author in several books in that time, and we have made it to international best-selling status. And I don't say that to impress people. I say that because when your why is so powerful, when you know the reason why you're doing something and not just doing something because you're doing something, it doesn't matter what's happening in our lives. We can get it done with the right people, the right resources Sanet spoke about. And more than that, just having the mindset that will draw us closer to what we want to accomplish. That has been a big thing for me. And I feel so proud to have people around me. Sanet breathes energy into all of us. And I like to say that from another individual I read, and it's not my material, he said that any team can win a game. No, any person can win a game, but only teams win championships. So, you see the top CEOs, you see the top individuals in fundraising galas, they're not doing it by themselves. They have people who have strengths that they don't have. They have people that are equally yoked in terms of the work ethic. They have people that they can just rally together to get things done. And we need more of that. I'm so happy that we have Zoom, because with what has happened over the past couple of years, we can still stay connected. And we need more of these things like this that really have an impact on what we're doing. It's not it's not about money, but if money wasn't important, everything would be free, but it really is about us being comfortable, being who we want to be, and not apologizing for it. We spoke about the self-love thing, right? Wendy, you talked about that, about self-love. We have to love ourselves. Wendy, right? You shared that statement. Repeat that again, because that was so powerful. I wrote it down. Can you say it again? Once we love ourselves. You're on mute?
Wendy, you're on mute.
Oh, there we go. I was
Say it
battling
again,
with my,
because what you said was so profound. Say that again about us loving ourselves.
oh my word. Now you're putting me on the point because I can't remember what it said.
Heather, we're
But-
with you, girl. We're with you, girl. We're shoveling with you. Come on, we're with you.
But the important thing is that we're enough. And I honestly can't remember what I said, but the thing to know is that we are enough, and we don't have to work at getting anything. We do, okay, let me try and rephrase this. We don't have to work hard to get things to happen. We don't have to be deserving of something because it is already there for us to actually just take and grasp. It's not as though it has to, for me, it has to be hard work. And this is a lesson that I'm trying to learn, by the way, to get things done. It's to realize that the very fact that we have been born, that we are here, means that it is available for us. And all we've got to do is reach out and take it. But yeah, that goes hand in hand with loving yourself, accepting yourself, and seeing yourself the wonderful creation that you are,
Yeah.
I mean, a practice that I do now is every night before I go to bed, I write down 4 things about my body, different things. Like my thumb, what does it do? It does this, it does that, it does the other. Without it, I wouldn't be able to write, for example. And it's got to be a different body part that I select every single night. And I end with, I love myself, or something to that effect. And it just makes you aware of how amazing your body is. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
And to expand on that, I learned from watching some of Oprah Winfrey's videos. She does a lot of inspirational work as well. And she talked about having a thankful journal. So every night before I go to bed, I write down 4 things I'm thankful for. And because I'm a mom of 3, it was really important for my kids to realize, with my husband being laid off once, the financial, we were able to bounce back from that, but it happened 3 times he was laid off, not just once. And so I wanted them to realize there's so many things to be thankful for. And so I have a thankful jar. I meant to grab it from the kitchen. And I have my children, now they're not consistent. Let me just keep that 100. They're not consistent at it. They're not. I have to constantly remind them. So I have a thankful jar. And there's a little piece of paper that I have taken the time to cut up, recycle, reduce, reuse, whatever the case may be. And I tell them to write down 1 thing on there that they're thankful for. And when that jar is too full to have something else go in it, we sit around and we read them off.
Wow.
And you can tell by the handwriting who wrote it. And that has been a beautiful thing because, like I said, us being displaced, not in our own home, since December 12th. And this is still happening right now. And the whole basement was a complete write-off. The whole basement. Okay. It started within the dryer. That's how the fire started. And so in that space, they still found things to be thankful for. As a matter of fact, I had someone saying to me, "Oh, aren't you sick of living in a hotel?" I said, no cooking for me, no cleaning for me. And I don't know if you guys know, Canada has bad winters. There was a worse snow. I didn't have to do any shoveling. I was looking outside, videotaping people and laughing at them while they were trying to shovel out the park. So, under everything that's happening, there's always something to be thankful for. So those are a lot of my thanks. So I'm sure when my kids read it, they're going to say, no shoveling today, no cleaning today, that kind of thing, which is great. But, it's just in part on them because they're, kids are really impressioned by the material world that we live in. And once you go through some stuff, you realize that none of that really matters. Take all the stuff you want from me, break into my home, whatever the case may be, but I still have me, you know, and I want them to get that, but it is a challenge sometimes. And so it's important for me to share that even with the ladies and men I work with in entrepreneurship, they're venturing out, and some of them have a new career that they're starting, or they're ending their career and now they don't know what they're going to do. So I help them with that. And I share my story with people and just let them know, like, if I can do entrepreneurship, and I'm not a brainiac, I don't even have a degree. Okay, I tell people I don't even have a degree. My degree is in common sense and loving people and my family. That's where my degree comes from. And I should do it. You know, I should, you know what, now I think I'm gonna write that up and put that in a frame. I'm
Yes.
gonna put that in a frame, degree in common sense and loving my family. I think I might do that for myself. If I can do entrepreneurship, knowing the up and downhill that take place, and people, you know, I'll tell you something. This is interesting because I haven't even told everybody that we had a fire and we were displaced. My mentor knows, two of my mentors know, and a few of my, well, of course, you know, your family knows. A lot of people I do business with and people that I work with in the entrepreneurship world, they don't know, because I want to let them know that I'm still showing up. I want to focus on showing up. And so I am going to share this in a bigger scale with people to let them know that we can all do something, no matter what's going on. Your house falling down, losing your house, bankruptcy, you know, no money, you know, there's lots of different things we can do, but we have to have the right people in our presence. Like, you know, like even I was thinking about it, if we only write down names of people that we just admire, and start to envision and visualize having a conversation with those individuals. That right there is so uplifting, you know, and get into the habit of listening to something positive every single day. That's what's been holding me and making me continue to be consistent. Do I have bad days? Yes, I do. But I'm really easy on myself too, because what I do, you know, you said about parts, I write down a lot of my goals. I compartmentalize things. So I have a to-do list, but I put a few things on the to-do list, because if the end of the day comes and I didn't reach all of them, I would feel bad. I'd make myself feel so bad. So now I put quality things on my list, you know, and it's not a whole list of 20 things anymore, because that used to make you feel, oh my goodness, no one, who wants another day and who wants another hour added to your 24 hours? Nobody, unless you're doing something you want to do, right? So I compartmentalize my goals, and that has helped me a lot. And I share that with people all the time, because we're so lofty. And I think women in general, we know that we're super, so we just take on more. I mean, I blame it on super, what is it, bionic women? Women, I blame it on bionic women, you know? Because of her, we think we can do everything.
Tammy, you know, when you said you're gonna not spend your whole 20 minutes, I just knew you're gonna go over that. So, ladies, I just want to say we are a little bit over time. It's now 11 past. So thank you for being here. But we just still need to do one more thing. And I want to say to Tammy, you know, when in a meeting with Emmanuel, when you told us about the house, you know, the way that you were telling, you know, and the way that you were talking and you accepting, it was, and I remember that day you were crying, and all of us were crying with you, and you know, you still consistently show up, you put your beautiful post on, and you just continue. I knew, but there was almost nobody that knew what happened. And you were there. You were like amazing. So that is also for me. I'm so proud, and I'm so honored to know you, because you just continue to do what you need to do. So and I want to say thank you so much for sharing, and also sharing that part of your story. Thank you. Can you tell us what is your forever song and why?
Pardon me?
Can you tell us what is your forever song, and why is this song your forever song?
You're a superstar. I believe I sent it to you on Facebook Messenger.
Yes, I have it open here. We're going to dance to it now, but
I listen to it every day. It's because we all are superstars. You know what? We are the starring, we have the starring role in our lives. That makes us a superstar.
Wow, it's amazing. I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here. I'm going to stop the recording.